Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is Natalie Stillwell from So Goes the Future. Today, I have a couple of moms that I have met online who are much more talented than I am with all things related to interior design and creating like a beautiful and peaceful home. This is an area where I need a lot of help. I wasn't born with that gift, and I was certainly not raised in a beautiful home. It was very messy and thrown together. But I would like for my sanity and just so that my life is more beautiful all around to like have a home that's pulled together and really beautiful. So we're just going to hear a little bit about, Melissa and Kathy's journeys into this world of interior design, and get a few tips from them today. So how about we can start with Melissa, if you don't mind. Can you give us a little backstory on how you came to care about your space at home as a mom, and also what sort of work you're doing in the world right now?
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for having me here. My name is Melissa, and I am the owner of Creating Beautiful Interiors. And I am on a mission to help moms to create beautiful spaces because we know how crazy motherhood is. And just, taking care of our little ones, it really takes a lot out of us. And I want to give moms at least a beautiful space and calm space, so that they can have more peace and joy, so they can be even better moms that they already have to take care of their kids. I actually decorated my first bedroom when I was 6 years old. So I have always been into decorating spaces, and it was a ballerina theme. So that's probably not a surprise for a little girl at 6 years old. And every space I always made it my own. So I started with my bedroom, and then with my studio apartment, which I had zero money. And so I made things from cardboard, from fabric. I bought furniture at Walmart, and that's how I created that little studio apartment. And I just I cannot stop doing it. It's like the first thing I do when I move into a home is just think, how can I make this space mine? And that's where I am.
And do you have children, Melissa?
I do. I have a little boy who is 6 years old, first grade, and a 3 years old little girl that she thinks she is a princess to me, but she definitely thinks she's Elsa. So she wears an Elsa dress all day long and just sings Let It Go.
So with young children in the home, how does that affect the way you're approaching decorating?
Well, I have always been a firm believer that our children will take care of our environment if they see it that is well taken care of. So they actually behave better when the environment is well put together. But I will say that there are things that I have learned over time, to not to do or not to buy. So I am very aware of the type of fabrics that I use in my environment. So like the couch or the dining table. I am aware of the type of surfaces that I have around me. How easy that surface is to clean or to maintain. And I'm also very aware of the type of rugs that I buy. I love shag rugs, but not great with kids around and crumbs. So I shy away with that kind of thing. So I have a light gray couch, like light gray. So I don't limit myself in terms of color, but it is a slip-on couch. So if it gets dirty, I remove it, I wash it, and then I put it on again. So it is stress-free from me, but I still get to have my light couch. And when you take these things into account, you can still have a beautiful space that doesn't stress you out, but it still looks very pretty.
So you mentioned earlier also when you walk into a new home, you think, how can I make this mine? What kind of mindset should we have, even if we're not necessarily getting a chance to start in a fresh home? But if we look around at our space with fresh eyes, like what should we be thinking to help us get to a place where it's like, okay, I can make a space that's beautiful and functional and not chaotic. Just give us some tips. Where should our head be?
So I will start by saying that before you go out and buy anything, you need to live in your home and you need to observe how you use that space, right? Because that's where you are going to start with your decor and how you make that home yours. If you walk through the door and you leave your mail by the door, then don't have your mail spot in your office in the basement, because it's never going to happen. So the first thing is really observe how you use that space, how your kids use that space, and how your husband use that space, because as we know, they will not get used to putting things in a different spot when they're used to that spot. So instead of fighting with your kids and your family and you need to put this there, to put that over there, you first observe what is their natural, what they're doing naturally in this space, and then you can start buying furniture that will serve you and your functions in that space. So that's the first thing that anyone should do. Now after that, think about how do I want to feel in this space? Is this space a relaxing space? Is this an energetic space? And once you start identifying how you want to feel about that space, then you can start proceeding how to make that space yours, because it's going to dictate a lot of the decisions that you're making for that space.
And it sounds like from what you were saying earlier as well, you can come with this great vision and you can still work with either what you already have or buying things that are affordable but still nice. Not, it doesn't have to be a junky couch off of Facebook Marketplace that costs $50 and has dog hair, like, because it's going to get ruined, right? So do you have any tips around places or ways to source affordable but beautiful things for your home?
Well, I mean, I have bought furniture from Walmart to Pottery Barn, and it really depends on your budget. So let's start over there, and then your own style and taste. Because the thing is, a lot of the furniture, I mean, unless you're buying really high end furniture, or like you're making it on your own, a lot of the furniture today doesn't really last that many years, or chances are you will get tired of that style, and you're going to want to revamp your space a few years down the road. So what I do is I think about those pieces of furniture that I know they will stick with me longer, and I will invest a little bit more in that type of furniture. Like my bed, I paid a lot of money for that bed, but I've had it now for 10 years. It's timeless, and I don't really get tired of it. Versus the couch, which is from IKEA. And I've changed out the couch twice because it's one of those things that we use a lot. And I kind of get tired of it. And I just don't like to spend a lot of money on it. But it might be different from you. So Walmart right now, surprisingly, is doing a lot. We know Target is one of our favorites. And then IKEA is also a great place to buy furniture. I wouldn't buy everything from IKEA because we don't want it to look like an IKEA showroom, but definitely a few pieces. And then the greatest thing about IKEA are the IKEA hacks, which you can then take that furniture and just make it to the next level.
Yeah, I love it. And I actually did just buy a couch yesterday off of Craigslist. Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I like Craigslist too, even though it's going a little out of style. But I love your idea of getting a really attractive slipcover that you can really like this piece and make it your own. But still, it's, you know, a good sturdy couch at a reasonable price. I even paid them a little extra to deliver it, so my life was easier. And I'm sure with other things too, you could buy and you could probably learn how to touch them up and make them more beautiful or repaint them or something.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Kathy, you've been waiting so patiently, and I'd love to hear also, what are you doing in the world and how did you come to get involved in creating beautiful interiors?
Well, I do interior design, and I also do remodeling. And with the purpose of this, I do a lot of online redesign, taking a room, using the pieces that you currently have, keeping some, getting rid of some, and then adding some new accessories depending on what your budget is. And again, similar to Melissa, I'd like to keep it within budget. From a kid, I've always gone with my mother and my grandmother to yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores to find unique pieces. There's certain pieces that you should go and buy new, but accent pieces, coffee tables, end tables, some sofas, it just depends. People buy and get rid of things, and you can find quality products if you shop correctly. So as a child, I've done that, and when I bought my first home, again, similar to Melissa, I didn't have a dime to like go and buy everything new. So this is where I incorporated that treasure hunt, so to say. And since a child, I've always been interested doing my own room designs ever since a kid, having it I liked it orderly, just because I find when things are cluttered, it creates chaos in the mind and it's hard to keep focused. So when everything has an orderly place, I find that an easier way to manage, just to manage life in general. And I was helping my mom as a kid decorate, and we were at a curtain store and I was helping her pick out a pattern. And I was so passionate about the design I thought she should use for a room. Someone actually came up to me and asked me a question. And I was like 10 years old. I'm like, I don't even work here. I'm like, and they're like, but you sound like you know what you're talking about. So from a child, it was just a passion of mine. And I've always changed the design of my own room, and it's continued on from home to home. And now I even got into remodeling, so I can see where the gem in a place where someone might not see it. And just with a little love and care, you could create a diamond out of nothing. And with that said, I like to do that in a budgetary form. And I think that's helpful because it stretches the budget, especially when you're a parent of little kids, or I have a 26-year-old now. It helps you stretch the dollar just because there's so many incidentals that come up with being a mom.
And to be honest, I also love the challenge of it. It's kind of a game. Like you're on one of those shows and
yes,
like you have this much and you have to transform this room.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what you would have to say as far as, taking a fresh look at your space and getting into a different mindset. How can we re-envision a space to prepare us to start thinking about what to rearrange and what to bring in and what colors and things?
What I've done so far is I typically do like a FaceTime with a client, and I'll have them walk the room with me, and then I'll ask them what they like and what they don't like. I need to get to know the person and their personality. So basically with yourself, you would get to say, well, I like purple, or, I'll ask a favorite color. And typically for fun, I'll say, let's pick a favorite product in your room, and let's kind of use that as a center focus to design this room. I've done it with somebody who basically was a young mom, business mom, woman, and she didn't know what to do with her space. She wanted it warm and inviting. She was given hand-me-downs, and nothing in her whole home was something that she went out and purchased. It was just a sofa from her mom, a table from the mother-in-law. But there was one piece of furniture when we walked the room where I'm like, oh, what's that? And it was actually a wood cabinet garbage can, but it was a butcher block, gray hard walls on it, and she loved that piece and she actually purchased it. So I'm like, well, knowing that that was what you bought with your own money, what we're going to do is take your room and design it. And so and she had a small budget of $200. And what I did is just incorporated the color scheme from the cabinet was a light gray. So I suggested she get some pillows to put on her sofa, how to rearrange the furniture so there's a better flow, get curtains that match the pillows, and then a little electric fireplace to bring an air of coziness. And it was just a few little things. All she had was $200, and that's a lot for some people. And I wanted to spread it as far as I could and create the best ambiance that she was looking for, because I typically asked, what are you looking for? And she was looking for warm and inviting. And it was just simply moving the sofas away from the walls to create they call it like an H or a U-shaped, where the sofas are shaped around, and then you put a table in the center. And typically you would like a table maybe to clear the clutter, especially with children, where to put the toys, if it was something of storage value, where you could place the little things that will come out, but put it away. So then when you need your space to shut off. There's no clutter. It's a little bit of a streamline of everything, and it's just light and airy to bring that calmness into your lifestyle.
And you've both touched on this idea that creating calm and order helps also with our children's attitudes towards a space and their behavior in the space. I love that. Can either of you speak to this idea of, if we are imagining the future life that we want, the home we're trying to create, it's kind of the same idea of mindset, but is there a way we can sort of plan so that it's helping us realize those goals and those dreams and reminding us of who we're becoming as a mom and as a human being?
Kathy, do you want to go first?
I was gonna say is to always, it gets so chaotic with working and being a mom and taking care of the family and all the whatnot, that you sometimes have to stop and take a breather and just remember yourself. And that is so important, because there needs to be a sense of, not for long durations, but a little sense of me time. And with that, I try to help create a space where no matter what time of the day, you can go to that space and just like, okay, I got my minute, whether it's in your living room, in the kitchen, a bedroom, just a sense of coming to terms with everything and remaining cool and just saying, okay, I have my moment. This room makes me happy, and bringing your favorite things to this place where you can just go remember what it's all about. And then being grateful, even though it might be driving you crazy, going back and saying, I am grateful for my family. I love it, but I just need a breather here. So
you're saying even having like sort of a mom nook, a little escape, something that reminds you of what's good and who you could be and who you're becoming. I love
right.
it.
Because yes,
that's part of something that you do, right? Don't you help with creating nooks for moms? Or is that okay? We will definitely want to hear about what you're up to before we wrap up. Melissa, did you have any other thoughts on this?
So I want to say that it's rare that anyone, or not anyone, but a lot of people can really redo their room all at once. We really have like these bursts of money. We might have an extra $100 this month and $200 next month. And so what I recommend you to do is go ahead and design that room. Spend time on Pinterest. Then think, what do I like about this room? What do I love? Look at your room and look at the things that are driving you insane, because that's where you should start in your room. And then create this plan. Just take those pictures and open your Word or Pages, depending on what you have, and just put those pictures in there. Make that room a reality on paper. And then what you'll do is, once you have those little money coming in, then you can go out and find a sofa that's similar to the sofa that you picked, or the table that's similar to the table. So you can do this space over time, and you don't have to tack it all at once. And in 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, you have the space that you were dreaming of.
I love that. That's very practical for a lot of us moms. And I love to play around in Canva, and they have tons of templates for like mood boards. Yeah. You can start putting in those color schemes. Maybe if you have some inspirational quote that reminds you of who you want to be and where you're going, and just start adding those things that create that vibe that you want. So you don't forget what you're looking for. And when you see that perfect thing in Facebook, I don't know, the local online yard sale, like yes. Exactly. I do care a lot about health, so I do want to throw into if you are getting things that are used, to also make sure that they're, not moldy and going to make your family sick or anything like that. But thankfully, there's tons of high quality stuff that people have out there. Let's see. Do you think we need, either of you, a special place for the children, or should we be thinking just make everything family oriented and weave in spaces for the kids in every room? What are your thoughts on that? I'm sure there's no black and white, but I'd love to hear your ideas.
So I personally, I like the kids having their space. So right now I live in an apartment, and we don't have a dedicated playroom. So their playroom, their bedroom serves as a play space as well. But I have these little nooks around the house where they can have a space where there's a little toy, little thing they can pull out and play. Because the truth is, especially if you have young kids, they feel safer close to you. So if all their toys are in the room, they're not going to stay there by themselves. That's not going to happen until they're about 6 or 7 years old. And in the meantime, you're going to have to stop doing what you're doing to go and sit with them in their room. But if they have little toys or little areas where they can play with, engage in whatever part of the house you are while you are doing your stuff, that's a win-win situation for the mom and the kid. The trick is that you might get like a concealed storage thing. So the toys are inside there. So it's not there for everyone to see and it doesn't stress you out.
Kathy, do you have any other thoughts?
I agree. I had, when my little one was little, I had her in the same room as myself, and I created a space for her so she felt there was adult space and there was her space. And little chairs, little tables, and a little storage area, all at her height. So she was part of everything. And then this way I could watch her, and then she could be with us. And there was, no putting her in another room. I wanted her to be part of this space, and then just seeing how just be with the family and how we all operate together as one.
I love that. You're probably familiar to some degree with like the Montessori approach, and making things the kids' size and height so they can start cultivating that independence. I love that. I definitely have used lots of steps and stools around my house, and my son has always loved to be active in the kitchen. And I've definitely created like a little cabinet for him when he was small with the little things they love, wooden spoons and opening and closing Tupperware and things, so I can cook and clean while he's still close by but not underfoot. I've also, I've seen people make sensory bins out of those little rolling rectangular, like kind of not too tall containers, like put them under the bed, and they're full of like cheap beans from the store and little objects kids can pour and play with. So I could see like having that and being able to pull it out, but I guess you might want a special rug to catch anything. These are great tips. Do either of you have any other tips you want to throw in for our moms before we share a little bit more about how they can keep in touch with you or work with you?
I do want to, I've been thinking about moms and decor and why a lot of them might feel a little bit of hesitation. And my thoughts at the end of the day, my conclusion is moms don't want to stress themselves out more than they already are. And so a lot of them might think that having a beautiful space that looks so beautiful and well together, or having a light couch, it means that now they have to stress out so the kids doesn't get it dirty, so this and that and that. And so what I came to was there's 4 types of moms. There's the moms that she will get the white couch no matter what, and it's okay, and she'll deal with that, and she finds a way. There's the mom that has the happy medium. She'll create a space, and she'll take a little bit more into account the things that she'll be able to put up with. Then there's the mom that she's practical. She's like, you know what? I want to have a beautiful space, but I do not want a rug under my dining room table because that stresses me out. And then there's the mom that is willing to live with the space as is, and it doesn't really stress her out in that way. And so at the end of the day, you have to think, what kind of mom are you? What is the level that you are comfortable? And then take your choices from there, because that will dictate if you want to get that white couch or that dark color couch. That will dictate if you're going to use a rug under your dining room table or not.
Awesome. Kathy, anything else?
And I would say similar to that, life happened. So the room that I would suggest is that it's going to get lived in. So at this time and juncture, when you have little ones, you might want to just hold off on certain things, or again, using slip covers, things that can help give that furniture or that sofa extended life. Just because things happen and it's going to happen, and just to like, that's going to be okay. This too shall pass, and it's just furniture.
If you, and I'm so sorry, my son's homesick with me today and I just heard him wake up. But if you had like one tip that today, right now, a mom could like walk into a space and do some kind of a thing to help bring a little more calm, to make it a little more personalized and a little more beautiful, what would you recommend they could walk in and do right now? I guess we'll start with Melissa.
What I would say is go into that room that you spend the most time and just look at one area that will drive you a little insane. There's probably a little bit of clutter, and then just get rid of that clutter. Like this is what I would say, find a basket, put the stuff inside the basket and put it there. And that will make a huge impact in your life. And it takes 5 minutes of your time.
Baskets are important. Lots of baskets. And on top, I totally, Melissa, what she said, baskets, boxes, little cubbies, little tables with storage, all of that helps to put away the clutter. And then to add on that, to just bring in the natural light. So that changes moods. And if you don't have big windows, then get a mirror that kind of reflects the light. But it's all about the window treatments. You don't have to have anything expensive, but anything with natural light, a mirror to reflect it, can change everybody's mood. You know, sunny days and cloudy days, there's a big difference.
Those are both really good. And something I've recently started doing, I've been buying incense that I really like, that smells really yummy to me, from the natural health store. And I've been lighting that in my room, even though I may not be able to do a lot of changes to the space. It at least makes my room more inviting where I am with my son. Melissa, tell us how people can find you and if you're offering anything they might want to get involved in.
So I have my Instagram account. This is where I'm going to be posting a lot of tips, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of the information. It's called at Creating Beautiful Interiors. I will be creating my website sometime this week, so you guys can check that out. I also have a Facebook business page. If you want to like it, I'm going to be posting there a lot more. And then I will be sending out this week with Natalie a freebie that is going to just be a simple 5-tip how you can create a beautiful space. So you can start dreaming and creating that space, even if right now you don't really have the money to do it, but at least you have the plan and where to start with.
Thank you. Kathy.
And yes, I'm on a Facebook business page as well. It's Catherine Bernard Designs. And if I put something in the chat, do people get it?
No, but I will include it wherever I post. Thank you.
And then I have a link for free tips for changing the vibe of your room.
Fantastic. And I'll be sure to include all those links, everybody who's watching. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Natalie. This was so much fun.
It was great.